That's where you're going to find your breath. That's where you're going to find your energy. That's where you're going to connect your higher self. That's where the ego is going to calm down. That's where you're going to get your intuition. And when you get your intuition, you're going to connect with your soul. And when you connect with your soul, you're going to get your authenticity. And when you get your authenticity, then you're going to find your purpose. And when you find your purpose, you're going to start manifesting. And when you start manifesting, you're going to find your happiness, and you're going to start becoming 5D. Oh, wonderful, gorgeous star seeds. I know you're going through a lot of ascension symptoms at this moment. Let's just check in quickly what's happening astrologically before we go on to anything else. We've just had a Libra equinox. That's all about justice and harmony and people coming out and breaking out of systems, even more so than before. And a little food for thought. The last time Saturn was in Aquarius was during the Rodney King riots. The last time Pluto was in Capricorn was during the American Revolution. And the last time Neptune was in Pisces was when Rome fell. And right now we have all three. So there's a big influx of energies. I do see predictions going on for October. At the second half of October, the energies are really going to ramp up. And I know you've been going through a lot of ascension symptoms. Also, check out my Telegram page. If you're not linked up to that or joined up to it, do please join so you get all the information there that you can't get here. The links will be in the description below. Now, the ascension energies coming in are hitting us hard and thick. We are having a massive crescendo going up until the end of Christmas. And we've got to have this because next year is going to be the 0 point, the unity conscious field, the event horizon, where 5D timelines all start converging. And mass consciousness going into 5D is going to hit a crescendo in the way it never has done before, especially with timelines. So we've got to have this massive crescendo with big energies coming in and all the encoding so that we can get there. At Christmas, there's also going to be a massive influx of Christ consciousness energy, and that is also going to be converging in a way it's never done before, ever. So the energies are going to be massive, going all the way up from now, up until Christmas. We've already had some huge ones already with the 8-8 portal. We've had the 9-9 portal as well. I mean, August was huge, and it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I know you're having massive ascension symptoms and taking a lot of codes, and the body's feeling very tired. So we're going to talk about that more as we go on, but it is going to increase. So you're going to get a lot of starseeds, a lot of light workers, a lot of people staying at home while their body's taking all these downloads on. You're getting joint pains, muscle pains, struggling to get out of bed in the morning, struggling to sleep at night because you're feeling so wired. If you're not grounding, you will be, your electrical field, your electromagnetic field will be going through the roof with all these energies coming in because you're embodying all of that energy. Your Merkaba and your light body is taking all this on. So if you're working with computers, or if you use a mobile phone, or if you're touching light bulbs and they're blowing up, this will happen more. So you've got to ground so you don't have electrical interference with your technology and various things around you, because that is only going to keep growing, especially up to Christmas time, when we're going to get something which resembles another great solar flash, but it's going to be a little bit different. Now, in terms of timelines, something very interesting is happening. Now, people always ask me, when did the 5D, 3D timeline split? Well, it started in 2012. And it's been happening ever since. The 3D and the 5D timelines are completely separated now. So 5D people can quite easily look at 3D people or unawakened souls or people who are yet to awaken. It is quite obvious they are still plugged into the 3D matrix. But what is really unique about what's going on at this moment in time is that there are two 5D timelines within the 5D awakened people now. So not only is there a divergence of people between the 3D and the 5D, there is now a divergence within the 5D people. There's now two camps that are opening up. In the first camp of 5D people, or awakened souls, or people who are becoming more multidimensional, we've got people who have done their shadow work, who have released trauma in this lifetime, childhood trauma, and also traumas in the last lifetime, and they're speeding through ascension at a much faster rate, and they are also able to encode more energies more easily into their light body, their Merkaba, and their DNA. Well, those other 5D people in the same divergence away from the 3D people, but the other 5D people who have not done that, who have not done their shadow work, are finding it harder to do the encodes, and the DN upgrade is taking longer because you have to purge akashically all the trauma from Lemuria and Atlantis and the Orion Wars and Maldak and everything else that happened both in this lifetime and in previous lifetimes, and we're going to come on to that later on. So it really is important to be doing your shadow work, and we've got a lot of people who are going to be staying at home a lot more during these times, and if you do work, you're going to be feeling a little bit more tired at work, and you're going to want to stay in during the weekends, and those who work from home will be wanting to stay at home a lot more. We're going to get a lot more light workers, a lot more star seeds staying at home, not going out. And the big C thing that happened was a massive ascension accelerator. So a lot of the star seeds who stop going out because of the lockdowns will remain in because there is so much going in. You're becoming more multidimensional by the second, and timelines are changing with timeline hopping as well. So people are having to ingratiate a lot of energies right now, and people just feel like staying at home and embodying and the upgrades and the downgrades. And you're going to see more of this. A lot of people, a lot more spiritual people, are going to be staying at home up until Christmas over the next 6 months, and they're not going to feel like going out. So you're going to get a lot more people becoming social hermits. Increasingly, we're going to be having a lot of outside external helps from the cosmos. So we're going to be having a lot more auroral and CMEs coming from our sun. And when you get big sun changes, you get massive changes in human consciousness. So the Schumann resonance is also bouncing up and down. It used to sit at 7.83 for the entire of human history. And then from 2017 onwards, it was going boing, 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 up and down. Well, we're getting even bigger boings, and we're getting huge plasma gamma radiation coming in, and it's basically photonic light. And where photonic light shines, the darkness and the trauma and the issues come to the surface. So we're going to get more surprises towards the end of this year. We're going to get more chaos, which needs to happen in some respects. I'm going to get more light workers being faced with their own selves, their own truths, their own dark sides, their own shadow self. That has to come up to the fore, because when light shines, it is indiscriminatory. It doesn't matter about your color, creed, your race, or who you are. So a lot of light workers are going to be staying at home, like I was saying, more often, but they're going to be having to face who they are. And this is going to be a great thing. So don't be afraid to find out who you are and get to know more of yourself, because we've lived through separation of ourselves and separation through the outside world for such a long time because of the 3D matrix. You want this, you need this, this is great. The light will shine on you, and you will find more of your shadow self, your dark side, your other self, all of these suppressed memories. You're going to have past life memories. Where light shines, everything comes to the surface. It's also shining on Gaia. We're going to have tectonic plates moving a lot. Earthquakes, volcanoes. We're going to have more and more of this. Everything's reshifting, juggling around, preparing for the end of the year, where there's going to be a massive climax where we get unity consciousness, and we're looking more towards the events that people call the event. Have you wondered why so many souls are waking up at this moment in time so exponentially? It's because we are getting these massive influxes from the great central sun, not only from our Alcyon, going from the Pleiadian system. We're going through the photonic belt at the same time. The ionosphere in which we live and breathe, which is from ground up to 30 miles above us, is changing electromagnetically. Our bodies, which are conductors, and within them our bioelectric circuitry, is absorbing all these radiations coming from our cosmos, and we're getting all these downloads, and we're feeling exhausted. So we're going to get more CMEs, and we are going to be looking at powerful influxes. We're actually going to be looking one coming in the next few days. The KP index, if you look at space weather, is going to be fluctuating anywhere between 4 and 6. And we're going to be getting geomagnetic storms. It's exciting. So ground. And don't relax if you're getting heart palpitations and body pains and headaches and feeling dizzy. Past trauma is coming to the surface. Healing, purging. It must happen. Just go with the flow, breathe with it, and flow like water. I do want to touch on why some souls are going back into fear, because some of you felt like you were doing so well, and then it all started going a little bit wrong, or a little bit Pete Tong, as they say in the DJ industry. You're going to be okay. Everything's all right. There's two big factors that I want to touch on. First of all, with the big energies coming in, your nervous system is getting a big reboot. It's like a big power, a boot up the bottom, basically. So your nervous systems are going into hyper overdrive, and little things like, for example, if you used to enjoy a drink or a little bit of alcohol, your body is pushing it back. It won't allow you to do it. It tastes revolting. And if you do manage to get any alcohol inside you, you feel really high and really floaty just after one sip. That's because your energy fields are shooting up, and your nervous system is recalibrating. So it won't take the toxins and the certain foods and things that you were taking before. So with a massive jolt of electricity going through your biocircuitry, it is putting some star seeds and light workers back into anxiety, which can then transmute as fear. So go back into your breath. Is very, very important. Go back into your breath, breathe and ground, because when we're getting these massive jolts of electricity and you're getting encoding, it can make you feel very, very anxious. So you must ground. If you don't know how to ground, I will make another video about that. And then there is another reason. Big reason, the main reason why on a soul and akashic level a lot of star seeds are going back into fear and anxiety is because Lemuria, but especially Atlantis, there were more than one Atlantis, but especially Atlantis, we had these civilizations where there are a lot of old souls that came from those times, and there was a destruction of the civilization. We were there. I was in Lemuria. And a lot of souls are also on Mars and Maldek. We've been through so many civilizations in this solar system where it collapsed and it fell through, and everything was going so well. We've had so many existences in past lives where we had to go through Atlantis falling, Lemuria falling, Maldek falling, Mars, the terrible nuclear explosions that happened on Mars, and you can still find, I think, Xenon 127, which are the remnants of nuclear devices being exploded, atomic grade nuclear activity, which can be found on Mars. So akashically, we are so used to civilization going down the pan. So a lot of people are feeling this notion that we are going through a massive shift, and our systems are changing. And things are falling, but they need to fall. So akashically within us, it comes up as conceptual emotion. And a lot of souls are going back into fear because they feel like, oh, it's going to happen again. Atlantis is going to happen again. Lemuria is going to happen again. And it's not. So you must use your affirmations and your positive grounding and go into gratification first thing in the morning, every morning. Use 12D shielding if necessary, and tell yourself, this time we're going to get through. We are in the midst of ascension. And don't forget, you are the forerunners of an ascended planet. So getting stuck on old 3D timelines are not going to work for you. They're really going to slow you down. So if you're still getting caught up in this guy's bad and this guy's good, and the narratives of good and evil, and this politician's good and this politician's bad, it's going to slow you down. It's going to stop your manifestation. You need to be in compassionate detachment, or otherwise it's observational neutrality. That's where you're going to find your breath. That's where you're going to find your energy. That's where you're going to connect your higher self. That's where the ego is going to calm down. That's where you're going to get your intuition. And when you get your intuition, you're going to connect with your soul. And when you connect with your soul, you're going to get your authenticity. And when you get your authenticity, then you're going to find your purpose. And when you find your purpose, you're going to start manifesting. And when you start manifesting, you're going to find your happiness, and you're going to start becoming 5D. And you're not going to be able to do all of that fussing about this politician and that politician and who's good and who's bad and all these conspiracies and everything, because you can't carry all that stuff into 5D, my beautiful star seeds. You just can't. So you must have detachment now, so that your energy can flow in through your higher self and in your intuitive abilities, so that you encode, focus on your inner work. Because if you're focusing on all the external, it's just a massive distraction that's keeping you away from the internal. And we must do the internal work so that we can become the ascended forerunners of this planet to take it into the next level. So it's a short, sweet, powerful little punchy message today, and there's a lot to think about. Stay with it. Don't go into fear. We're going to punch through. Next year is going to be incredible. The big reconstructing years are 2020 to 2024, and we're now halfway through. So you're doing a great job. I love you guys. There's so much to look forward to. Stay grounded, stay in your breath, and make sure you're on the right timeline. I love you so much. Ciao.